Hey guys, welcome back. So this Stihl MS250 chainsaw, it starts, it idles, but it doesn't rev up. It basically has no high circuit. All right, let's get the air filter and the air filter box out of here. I turned the saw around. I think the lighting is a little bit better this way, so I think you can see a little bit better. I have a feeling that this is going to turn into a carb rebuild or replacement. I have a gasket kit for this carb, as well as a brand new carb. But I'm gonna see if I can rebuild this carburetor first, or fix this carburetor before I go ahead and just install a brand new carburetor. The gasket set for it was significantly cheaper than the actual carburetor, so it definitely, at least for these, at least for OEM, and I would go with OEM parts for you know, this caliber of chainsaw. I would not go with the knockoff parts. The OEM Zama gasket set is significantly cheaper than the OEM Zama carburetor for it. So we're going to try and use the gasket set first and see if we can rebuild this carburetor, and if not, I guess we'll just be putting a brand new carburetor in it. So I have the air filter box off of it, and this should now just actually, so we got to get the fuel line out of here. Let me see if I can grab that. I'll be right back with the proper tool. I think the proper tool in this case, there's not a lot of working room in here. I can't get the pliers in. I think it's going to be just a screwdriver. Whoa. All right, well, that made a mess. That's a lot of gas. All right, I'm gonna clean this up. So where's the fun if you don't make a mess, right? So I'm going to, let's see. See if I can remove some of these. Okay, so there's the choke lever. Let's see if we can get the throttle lever off. Okay, so if I pull the throttle, looks like I can pop that off. Without breaking the plastic. That would be good. Like that. How does that hooks in there from the right. So remember that this hooks in from the outside and around. All right, you got that? Let's pull this fuel line out of the way. Let's get this out of the way here. Come on. Come on. Don't be like that. There we go. All right, so that's coming. What else do we have attached here? Here's the vent. This is the vent and the covers for the jet adjustment. All right, and are we held up on anything else? Nope, that's it. There we go, gasket came with it, that's okay. So now we have one carb. Alright, switch cameras. This camera, this is actually the phone. It's actually a pretty good camera, and you can get in and see all the details. So if you can see this right here, this is the reason why I could not adjust the high jet. This roll pin right here prevents the jet from turning out any more than that. So you can turn it in, but that's as far as it goes out. And I'm sure that that's for emissions purposes. The number on this carb is S76C, and I have a replacement carburetor here. This is S76G. I think it's just a different revision of the same carburetor, and the part numbers are the same across all of the A through G or whatever they have now. So that's the part number for this. This is an MS250, and then I have just the gasket kit here, and this is an OEM Zama kit, and that part number is GND-35. So we're going to try that first with this. We're going to try cleaning this carburetor out and replacing all of the gaskets and everything in it. And if it still doesn't work, this is going in. Alright, so I'm going to start by pulling this cover off down here, and you want to keep track of the orientation and the order of all the gaskets. Sometimes the gaskets and diaphragms are stacked and in a certain way. So, you know, the orientation and the order can matter. So I'm going to be very careful, and since I'm recording this for YouTube, I will have a video record of it so that when I forget when it falls apart like that, I'll know how it all goes back together. I got some small screwdrivers and a pick, so now I can pick away at this. Definitely smells like gas in here. Wonder why that is. Alright, so that goes like that. So this part with the metal 5-hole ring goes down over top of the float. This is kind of like this replaces the carb bowl in a normal 4-stroke engine. This is kind of like the bowl. This is where the gas is. So this diaphragm needs to be very pliable. It needs to be able to go back and move easily. And this one does, but it's a little bit, I don't know if you can see that, it's a little bit stiff. Not nearly as bad as it could be, but definitely, and ethanol fuel does that. So if you use ethanol fuel in it, which I have in this chainsaw, it can make these rubber gaskets and diaphragms go bad quicker. So put that over there. That goes like that. Let's see, do you want to take the, well, I want to take the needle out. I want to see all the different pieces in this thing. So let's get that out without stripping the head. Oh, spring. It's going to go flying everywhere and I'm going to lose it. And I'm then going to have to put the new carb in no matter what. So let's try not to have that happen. So there's a spring that goes in there. There's the pivot, and here's the needle, the arm that the needle goes on. So we got a spring, and here is the needle. And the needle has the rubber tip, so the sealing surface is on the needle, not down in the hole. All right, so I don't have the full carb kit. I believe that carb kit, not sure what the part number is, but you can get a full carb kit that comes with all of the needle, a replacement needle, and arm, and all of this stuff. I did not get that. I just got the gasket kit because that's normally what goes bad. All right, so that's that. Let's open up this side and see what's in here. These screws are sticking to my screwdriver. Let's open this up. Let's hold that in. Let's not have pieces pop and fly out everywhere. Okay, so here is another diaphragm. Pick at this a bit. This one maybe, yeah, this one's stacked, so there's this piece that goes on the top, and then there's a gasket that goes underneath this. Goes like that. Alright, I am going to blow out all of these passages with carburetor cleaner. And actually I can already see, so there's a fine screen in there, so I'm guessing that this fuel inlet is connected there, so when I blow this, it's going to come out there. No, I was wrong. It actually comes out there. Okay. So there, where does this go? Can't really tell where that goes. That goes through some passage. Let's see, there's a passage here. Where does that go? Okay. That passage goes there. Where does this passage go? There. Okay, so that passage and that passage are connected. That one and that one are connected. This and this are connected. And oh, maybe the screen is here. This is where the fuel comes in. Yeah, okay, so that is connected there. All right, and this must be the jet itself. And this must go into the body of the carb. So that right there, shooting carb cleaner in right there. And hopefully you can see that. This is tough, but see, that's the jet. So, all right, I think I know where all the passages are connected and where they go in this thing now. I think I figured out how this thing works, and I'm going to try and explain it to you. So we'll start here with the pulse from the engine. As the piston moves up and down in the crankcase, it, depending on where it is, high or low in the cycle, it'll generate positive or negative, positive, more pressure or less pressure. So you actually get a pulse that is fed into here. So this is the pulse port. That is connected to this this port right here. And this gasket goes over top, just like so. Actually, no, just like so. And you can see that pulse port is there. This goes on top like this, and you can see that pulse port is still open. And this goes on top like that, and that pulse port is actually this right here. And this is connected to right here, so it connects the pulse port to this large chamber here. And so that would be this large chamber here. And so that pulsing makes this diaphragm kind of go up and down. Not much, just a little bit, but it actually makes it makes the gasket diaphragm here pulse. And that, just that little bit of pulsing makes it so that this fuel port is connected to here, this flap right here. So that would be that port here. And so that's a one-way port. And then this port, which is in the same chamber, is connected to this large chamber where the pulse from the engine goes. So that essentially, that pulse, that little bit of pulsing, is enough to pull the fuel, draw the fuel into this chamber through this one-way flap, and then it fills this chamber here. And since this is a one-way flap, so when there's less pressure, more negative pressure here, the fuel can draw up, and then when there's positive pressure, it actually can't go backwards back into the tank, so it stays here. And so the fuel is in here, it gets pumped in here, and then there's another port here that's connected right here. And that also goes to a flap. So the fuel is pumped out of this chamber and up through this flap, which is a one-way, so it can't go back down. And so it goes there, and then it goes through this port right here, which then goes through this screen, and the screen and this large port is connected right here. And this is where the needle in the seat are. So that's the seat down there, and then there's the needle, where's the needle? Here, which sits down in there. And these are small parts, so that sits down there and that, and like that, and this this pivot arm with the rod is attached there, goes through like something like that. Okay, so that's where that connects, and on top of that you have this diaphragm. So this is like the carb bowl, and so and there's actually a spring underneath. I hope I did not lose that spring. It's around here somewhere. Here it is. I'm about to lose it. So this spring is under there. It provides some tension for this. So, but when this, when the gas, the fuel is drawn up into the carburetor, into the body of the carburetor here, this diaphragm, which is supposed to be very pliable, the less fuel, so it pushes down on that on this lever, which opens the needle, and fuel can come in. When the bowl or this area in here is full, this thing is all puffed out like that. It's all puffed out, and the spring keeps tension here, and it closes off the fuel inlet, so fuel cannot get into this chamber. You can't get more fuel than it's designed for into that chamber. That's how that works. So if this diaphragm starts getting hard, it will not meter the fuel correctly. It will either not let fuel in, or it will just let fuel flow in all the time. So that's one problem. And then on this side, if this gets all bent out of shape, and this one's kind of bubbled, as you can see, if it stops working quite right, then the fuel pump is not going to work, and it's not going to be able to draw the fuel into this chamber, and it's not going to work, because a chainsaw, you're holding it all different directions, upside down, up and down, all different ways, and so it has to be able to pump. This pump has to be able to work. It doesn't work by gravity, so this is actually like a simple fuel pump. I guess now that I'm done explaining, and we have a huge 5-minute long spiel about how this thing works, we'll put it back together with the new gaskets and diaphragm and see if it works. So I've laid out all my gaskets. So the old gaskets are here, and the corresponding new gaskets are here. So the diaphragm, this is actually two pieces. They're kind of stuck together. There's a base gasket, and then the diaphragm underneath or on top. So that's these two right here. And the kit also came with this. It looks like that it's this, but a different material. The old one was this material, so I'm gonna use that. I'm going to disregard this piece because we don't seem to have that in our carburetor, so I'm gonna put that back. So we're gonna start on this side, and I'm gonna take the new gasket, or the new diaphragm, and just lay it over like that. So that looks right. And then we have this new gasket that goes over top like that. And then how did that go? So then this went over top like this. And let's all right, I think that's gonna do us like that. And I'll stick this screw back in. Alright, so that side's done. So now we move on to this side. And this side, I took the needle out with all of this stuff, and that is going to be a pain to get back in. I'm going to take off my gloves. There's a spring. I want to be able to manipulate. Did you ever build model trains as a kid? That's what this feels like. These things are so tiny and you're trying to arrange them. Yeah. I'm going to fumble with this thing. So I believe it went on like this. So this holds the needle. This pivot rod goes through like that. And that all goes down in there, but to make it complicated, this spring goes here. Like that. And so something like that. I think that's what I want. Now, let's put this back on. Looks like it goes like that. And then this diaphragm goes down like that. Seems right. And then this cover would go on like that. Before we do that, let me just, feels right. Feels like it is pushing down on that lever arm, and yeah, I think that's working right. I think we have it. I think that's it. Time to reassemble. So this is where the carburetor goes. This is the gasket, and this hole right here, I think you can see it on camera. That's the pulse port hole. So that is what is going to line up to this here. So when I slide this on, so if I can do that right now. Come on. Come on, you can do it. It came off, you gotta go back on. There, like that. So, there we go. So yeah, so that pulse port lines up there, and that's what makes it all work. So we'll connect that fuel line up, but first I'm gonna finagle with these linkages. This one went in from the right over here. There we go. Can you see that? Linkage is down there and snapped in up here. So that's one. Let's see if we can get the choke linkage. Before we do the choke linkage, let's put this back. Maybe I should have done that before I put the throttle linkage back together. Just maybe. All right, let me take that back apart and put this on, bring you back. I got the rubber boot back on the carburetor adjustments. Now it's time to do the choke. So I'm pretty sure the choke went like that. I got it. I think it has to be on, should be on half choke to get this in. So that'll work just like that. So that looks good. Let's put the fuel line back on. That. And which way? This air box cover goes on like that. And then we got these two 8mm nuts. I also took the liberty of draining most of the fuel, whatever I could get out of it. And now I'm going to put in some of this pre-mixed 50-to-1 ethanol-free stuff for small engines, and then we'll try it out. I'm only going to spill gas all over the place once today. All right, here we go. Full choke. I'd say that's pretty good. I call that a win. Thanks for joining me on this one, and if you like these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you on the next one.